Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mark from Solo Games, and today we are going to talk about battles. Huge news. Finally, we see a preview card of this new card type that we've been waiting for, I don't know, 4 months now since they talked about it on Atraxa, and it's looking pretty good. So let's dive into it. First, let's talk about what the card is. So the card is called Invasion of Zendikar. It's an uncommon, and it's a battle siege. So I'll read the card so you guys can understand what we're talking about, and then we'll go on to talk about the card. 3 in a green, battle, siege. As a siege enters, choose an opponent to protect it. You and others can attack it, and when it's defeated, exile it, then cast it transformed. Okay, so that's the battle side of this card. Basically, it's laying down the rules for what a siege is. A siege essentially is just the player's going to defend this card. The battle side does have a life value. It reminds me a little bit about like Planeswalker loyalty, so I assume it probably works similarly, where, for example, it has 3 counters. If you attack it, then it decreases the counters, and then once you hit 0, then you defeat it, and if it's defeated, then it does the other side. But it on this side also has a second part, which is when Invasion of Zendikar enters the battlefield, search your library for up to 2 basic lands, put them on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. So it's already a ramp on this side for 3 and a green. Then, if it's defeated, you cast it transform, you get Awakened Skyclave. It's a creature elemental, and with Vigilance and Haste, as long as Awakened Skyclave is on the battlefield, it's a land in addition to its other types. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. It's a 4/4 Vigilance Haste. So the first thing we understand, this is similar to the rules of Neon Dynasty with the enchantments that become creatures, is that once they go to exile, they are cast again. They do have summoning sickness. So for example, this card tells you that this creature is going to come in and it could swing on that first turn. Right? It's a Vigilance Haste. It's not like time counters or suspend where the creature comes in already with hasted, right? So it's kind of like different. Number 2 is basically the way I see and read battles. It reads very similar to me like a curse. So I'm thinking things like Curse of Hospitality, where you enchant a player, it's enchantment or a curse, and the player is then cursed. What that means, for example, Hospitality, I believe, gives the attacking opponents their creatures trample, and I think when they deal damage, something else happens. I kind of forgot what's on the card, but I'll put it up here so you guys can see the card. And then Curse of Opulence, for example, you enchant a player. Whenever you attack the player, you create a treasure. So there's curses like this that already exist. It feels similar to this, where you as the casting player put this thing on someone else, and they have the opportunity, or they have to have the detriment of defending it. So in this case, they probably want to defend the siege because they don't want you to win, because if you win, then you get the second side of this. And this actually solves one of the problems that we had originally when Wizards first announced battles, and we were all speculating what battles does, in that it's, originally we didn't know what battles would be, meaning if I cast a battle, is it a direct detriment because I already spent mana and now it's a thing where we both contest and then whoever wins gets something. Well, battles are one-sided, meaning if I cast a battle on you, like in this case, the siege, then you can't defeat it, first of all. So you gain no benefit from me casting the battle. Number 2, I also gain immediate benefit from casting the card. It's 3 and a green, and I go up 2 lands by ramping. Yes, it's not great at like Skyshroud Claim. There are other better ways to ramp 2 lands, but the whole idea here is that it's added benefit, right? Like I get a second part of this card if I were to be able to defeat the battle. I now have a 4/4 Vigilance Haste that can also serve as a mana dork. All of these are good things. So in effect, if I can cast a battle, defeat the siege, then in that one turn, I would now have essentially like 3 extra mana. Well, I guess the 2 mana comes in tap, so next turn I would have 3 mana. I have 1 mana for that turn. Next turn I would have 3 extra mana, plus my mana drop, 4 extra mana. It's pretty huge, actually, even for a card like this, if you can make it work. The other really interesting part to me is that you notice the subtype of siege. So battle is the super type, like creature, like enchantment, like spells, like sorcery, instant. But the subtype is siege, which also tells me there's going to be other types of battle. So could we have like open field battles? Could we have aerial battles, naval battles? Can we have like close quarter battles? Can we have like, something else? Like there's a lot, or a cavalier, like can we, I don't know, I'm just like really just, rattling things off my top of my head now. Like, are there different types of battles battle, invasion, battle, like defense, right? Where you can cast and there's different, ways that you can win the battle. So in the siege, of course, I'm casting on you. I'm now trying to break the siege, right? I'm trying to like siege your castle. I win if I defeat the siege. But you can imagine I could cast something similar, but on the defense side, meaning, for example, I can cast it. Maybe there's a type called defense, and I cast on myself, and I have to defend, for example, 3 turns. If I can defend let's say 2 turns, then it transforms, something like that. Or open field, which could be something like I have to kill 1 creature, right? And so your opponent may not want to block because, well, if they lose 1 creature, then I win the open field battle or something stupid like that. So there's a lot of these things where so much possibility, so much design space, because now we have a new card type. And, originally I was pretty worried about battle and what it's going to do. But reading this card now, reading what it's doing, I actually have high optimism for all the design space that we now have for battle. So I love Norse mythology. I love like Kaldheim as a set, right? So man, can I please just get a battle where it's like, like I'm battling for sacrifice or something like that, where I battle and I would have to lose creatures. But once I lose, let's say 5 creatures, then the gods bless me. So in fact, think about this side too. Once you win a battle, this card tells us we get a creature, but there's no limitation on what's on the backside of the battle. It could be a creature, enchantment, spell, sorcery, could be anything, could be a land, right? So that opens up a ton of other design space too. So my design card right now in my head is, let's say it's called open field battle, whatever. And then I would have to basically kill 5 of my creatures somehow. Like I lose them, sacrifice, whatever I want to do. But once 5 creatures dies, right? Then, for example, I flip over, because I have to pay a lot for this. I flip over the card, it's enchantment. It basically makes all of my creatures, like maybe I resurrect all of them, right? So every creature that's in the graveyard now comes back or something, or like I choose 5 of them. And then they all become 4/4, base power 4/4, but in addition they get flying and vigilance. So they're all angels, right? Super flavorful for Valhalla, like they're being blessed by the gods. They're now all made into Valkyrie. They're, I don't know, just things like this I'm already kind of like super excited about. Like, hey, there's a lot of possibilities for battles. Yeah, I'm really excited for this card type. So, and here's the thing. This card is uncommon. So, because there's battle for this set and it's new, they're going to push the cards. The rares, the mythic rare versions of battles are probably going to be way better than this. The effects are going to be way stronger. And especially when Wizard introduced the first thing anytime, right? Like I said, about product, about cards, they always go heavy. They push hard because they don't want the card to come out of the gate like it seems weak, right? So these cards are going to be pushed in the set for sure. Yeah, so that's what I think about battle. Let me know in the comments what you think about battle. What kind of other battles can you speculate on in this set or future sets? What kind of battles would you like to see? Tell me more, and I would love to read about it. Smart Solar Games, I'm out, and stay classy.